gentlemen, it's time to begin. Mr. Vinod Javur, who's been associated with us for a very long time, thank you once again for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Before we get into the technical aspects, I want you to tell us what is your approach to the idea of technology? Why do you feel so passionately about it?
Okay, it's very fundamental question. I think on a personal level, I firmly believe if you want to move a country forward in terms of their growth, in terms of the ability to make life easy, if you have to also look from a socialistic perspective, if you want to quickly take out people from below the poverty level to above the poverty level, the quickest and the easiest way probably is to adaptation of technology. Uh, I believe that countries' indicators of progress, countries' indicators of being in the bigger league, countries' stepping stones to be an innovator is now gauged nowadays. Earlier, it was more to do with your food securities, your manufacturing capabilities. Now, I believe the way you are able to apply technology and way you are able to use technology on a day-to-day basis and improve the life of the all the users is the easiest and faster way to demonstrate progress and ability to get into a higher league. That's my way of looking at it.
So it is very growth and progress oriented. Speaking of growth and progress, what is your assessment of the growth of the Indian data center industry over the just last 1 year? And how do you think it compares to growth in other data center markets across the APAC region?
Okay. So, I mean, it's obvious that we are in India, so we see the impact of the growth quite predominant, which are closer to our influence circle. So, we have seen growth which is closer to us as something which we feel is exceptional. But compared to Asia Pacific market, we are a little ahead in terms of growth. Doesn't mean that the Asia Pacific market is not growing. It is equally catching up. The interest level in deploying data center and providing solutions still remains high in various things. Surprisingly, earlier it was anticipated that data center growth will be more into developing countries, emerging markets, but the need of this data center and the need of deploying AI is now spread across various type of countries, including advanced countries, fully developed countries, and emerging countries. So, growth is there across the Asia Pacific. But if you have to pick up and see the rate in which the growth has happened, definitely India stands out a little bit more in terms of the interest and the capacity which they are planning to build on that.
That's a good point because India now has ambitions to really go big on the capacity game. We want to build a gigawatt scale data center in India. When it comes to scaling up, what are some things we need to consider while taking steps to manage this growth properly?
Yeah, I mean, it is very easy to say that I will grow from an 50 megawatt campus to a 500 megawatt campus. But I think the first step probably is people must really realize the scale of what a 500 megawatt campus really looks like. It's not just a multiplier of numbers from 50 to 500. It's a host lot of other things which you have to do logistically. Firstly, do you think that you will be able to secure power of such a high capacities from grids which have been commissioned 20, 30 years back? Are you in a position to ensure stability of those grids? Are you in a position to invest upfront? See, when you go from 50 to 500 megawatt, whether it is 50 or 500, your initial investment needs to be in the ground. So you have to be really clear from a management perspective. Are you ready now to put 50 times more investment to be part of the campus? Because some of the common infrastructures like substations, They are really one-time investment which you have to do based on the capacity of the campus. This requires huge capital. So are you in a position to really ramp up and put that capital in mind? So one is the mindset. Are you and your team really thinking that big, ability to handle? Second is, are you ready to put that kind of initial investment? Third is, how is the rest of the growth plan going to be worked out for you, especially handling something? Can you imagine, for example, this is the practical problem we are seeing. How many backup generators you need for a 500 megawatt campus?
Exactly.
This is humongous. And more challenging that if all of them wants a 48 hours thing, actually I'm putting a nuclear bomb in terms of the fuel storage here.
Exactly.
So how do you take care of that kind of scale? So it doesn't go by, okay, I'm taking 10 steps today, tomorrow I'll take 50 steps. It doesn't work. It has to be thought from an, how do you do a 500 megawatt campus from a holistic perspective? It is not an incremental thing. That's what I'm trying to say on that.
So you're being cautiously optimistic.
Yes, obviously. It has to be cautious and optimistic. Obviously, optimism is the need of the hour. We need to have people who think big and ready to invest that much.
Speaking of thinking big, I think AI is forcing all of us to think big. And it has played a major role in the growth of the industry here in India and across the world. My question to you, sir, though, is have we fully grasped the potential of AI? Do we know what we can do with it? What are we doing right and what are we doing wrong?
Uh, Firstly, I mean saying all the growth is the expected growth on account of AI. We still don't have the real data of how AI has really contributed as of today. We are expecting the growth because of the deployment of AI. I can only say that rubber hitting the road is still not happened from the AI perspective. So we'll probably have some 2-3 years when actually AI starts deploying and we see the trends of how that has been fully utilized, how to support AI, liquid cooling, and rest of the technology come into phase. So it's like a anticipated growth, but not exactly there. What we call is apple in a jar, in a transparent jar. You can see the apple, but you can't eat it yet on that. So something of that kind of scenario we are, but you can't ignore the apple. So we are all preparing that the apple one day will come out of the jar and we can eat it. So hence we are preparing for that kind of things. So that's the whole scenario which you're looking. And if you ask why are you, if you're not sure why you're preparing, the reason is very clear. If you don't prepare, someone else will open the jar and eat your apple. So you have to be there, part of the whole system here on that. So that's how the system works here.
The other big buzzword is sustainability, and we are looking at non traditional power sources. India is going big on solar energy, but should we also look at nuclear power, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think I covered it in my speech earlier in the day. I think when you're thinking of gigawatt campuses or half a gigawatt campuses, the whole ecosystem to transport that power from a generating station to a intermediate substation and then getting it to the user requires huge amount of infrastructure upgrade. So everyone will probably like to look at solution where you have a kind of an power generation station right in your background. So I think nuclear, what we call as a micro reactors, is going to be something which will come into serious discussion in couple of years' time. And I will not be surprised in a decade's time we may have some very high capacity nuclear reactors being put to power this, because it makes a lot of sense. Stable power is considered to be green, and also it ensures smaller footprints for generating that kind of. So we can't rule out. I think personally, I feel that this is something will come up for serious consideration in about 5 to 10 years time on that.
Let's now talk a little bit about digital HDC. Could you share some future plans with us, some expansion plans? What can we expect in 2025?
My business case, obviously, I can't reveal on that.
A girl can try.
Yes, like anyone else who is in the Indian market, we are really looking at being that. See, our principle when we entered India, I read in report, Mr. Rachit only published something very recently. He keeps saying that there are 22, 23 data center players here on that. So when we entered this data center market, we didn't want to be one of the players. So we wanted to be a differentiators. And we thought the differentiators will come purely by being an innovative and a large player. Hence, we didn't hesitate to go and pick up a land parcel of 50 acres, which was hardly anyone else has picked it up, because we know that the way to break this whole thing was to go big, go large, and bring in that kind of innovative solution. So this kind of approach continues for us as we explore more within the countries. We are definitely going to be present in many more locations. At present, Mumbai is the priority. We may also grow in Mumbai with multiple campuses, but all other cities, we are seeing tractions, and we will be there with the simple principle of go large, build fast, innovate what you offer. This is the principle we'll follow on that.
What are some of the big innovations you are keeping your eye on in the industry? Something that will carry the industry through, something that will, I mean, AI has revolutionized things, but I'm sure that's not the end. There's a lot more happening.
And there are many, yeah, presently what is there in front of us is AI and some elements of machine learning and all. But I feel in terms of the technology, there are very many things going to be processed. I'm very not really sure whether that will be a part of the core data center or they will get into part of the edge data center. So it's difficult for me to predict something which is not something beyond our visibility. But the trends are showing that the processing speed, the need of data to be analyzed, and applications based on this data being available is a trend which will continue to grow for us.
Perfect, sir. Final question. You've been one of our most valued guests here at Mumbai CDC and a variety of other W.Media events as well. What has been your experience so far, and what can we do better?
No, no. Every time I've been W.Media, it's a great experience. Thanks to me, I meet all my old colleagues here, and it's a good catching up with the old colleagues and our supply chain management, new product vendors. It's a very good networking event. Excellent. It's gained kind of a reputation to be an event to be for most of the people who are associated with data center, and obviously we will also like to be here on that. It's been organized well. I mean, I've been used to your old hotel and old setup. This is something new. Looks large, and I think you're also growing. Maybe looks like something which we have in the US as a kind of an event, which is like a football field. But nice to know. Always a pleasure. Well organized. I think you guys are doing an excellent job. Good topics, good inputs from the experts on that. And thanks to you.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank
That
you very much.
concludes this fireside chat.